watch, I can see like to make sure that everyone's in frame.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've been meaning to get one of those. Like, have you seen the ones that like move?
That follow you like when you move.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not that animated, otherwise I would
Not that.
probably...
Not yet. Not yet. This is the start.
Sometimes they walk back there, so I'll use this.
Yeah.
If they do walk by, it's not as loud. Cool. So you bought your first property. Alright, so you said that you had acquired your first property. Did you do like a wholesale? Do you own it still?
No, I owned it. So
That's awesome.
it's actually kind of a funny story. I used to work at Subway, sandwich artist all the way. Let's go. The owner, we became very close. He helped me get my first house. At first, I didn't really know anything. I was very intimidated, and he pitched the idea. Actually, I went to him. I said, "Hey, I'm interested in real estate. Like, could you kind of teach me how to do it?" And he's like, "Yeah, for sure." And then next thing I know, he convinced me into like buying a property in Black Falls. So yeah, got that when I was 19.
Wow.
And then that was awesome. And then now my sister and I have another renter that stayed with me there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So did you have a cosigner? Did you?
No, I did it myself. At the time, I was very fortunate that I was working in the oil and gas industry, so I was able to get myself on some rig money. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. I wish everyone would do that. It's like, go get rig money and then.
No,
just-
exactly. But I think it was all like luck, and I'm very fortunate and thankful that I met him.
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how I got into that.
That's crazy.
And
So,
then
single
yeah.
family house, or is it like probably just a single family house?
Yeah, it's a single detached house.
Is there a garage?
No garage, but I'm getting into that. I've actually made good friends with a builder. I was helping him. He's helping do some renos on my grandma's place, so I kind of like watched him, and he's gonna show me. He has a garage. He just bought a house in Rimby, and he's gonna build a garage on it. So I was thinking I could just shadow him and see how he does it, and then hopefully this summer I could build one. We'll see how that goes.
That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool.
Heck yeah.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah, if you got skills, you can do some cool. Because whenever you're doing renovations on a property, half of it is labor and half of it is material cost.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, you can do it for half price.
No, exactly, and that's what he was saying. Because at first I was like, I asked my neighbors, they're like, how much did you pay for your garage? They're like 40 grand. I'm like, oh wow, that's a lot. So, but he said that typically you could build a 20 by 20 garage. That would cost about, like he said, 20 grand if you did it yourself. So half the price. So I was like, oh, that's not too bad. I could do that. Yeah.
I wonder what your hourly wage would be doing that, because like wholesaling, you're probably at $500 an hour if you average it out.
Yes, and I recently just got into wholesaling. It was a thing that I've always wanted to try, but I didn't really get the time to. Now I'm just at a period of my life where it's just like, I might as well try it and see how it goes. And yeah, hopefully it works out.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So are you still working away?
Yes, so I have a couple jobs. I do. Surprise, Miss Kid. I work. I do thread washing. I haven't done that in a while though. And then I'm apprenticing to be a millwright.
Oh wow.
So then, yeah, millwrights it's a unknown trade, which is very like lots of people should get into it. And yeah, starting that hopefully in March. Gonna be going to RDP.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm excited to go back to school. Yeah, and get to meet people. But real estate is my passion. Like it's something that I don't really see as a job, so hopefully it comes to me very easily. I still have a lot to learn, and yeah, I'm actually very excited for journey and meeting you. That's crazy. Like, what the heck? Like, this is the last place I thought I would be. Like, and especially a podcast. I'm like, I've always seen podcasts, but I was like, okay, I don't think I would actually be in one. It's awesome to actually be in one.
Yeah, thanks for being part of it.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
So how old are you now?
I am 21.
21.
Yeah.
Been a homeowner for 3 years already.
Almost, yes. I did to rub it in my sister's face. I'm just kidding, Mona. I love you. But yeah, no, it's amazing. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Did you go to Thurber? Where'd you go?
No. Okay, so originally I'm from Uganda. We moved here 10, 12 years ago with my sister and my mom. And we moved from Uganda to Nunavut. We spent 2 years in Nunavut.
That would have sucked.
It was cold. Not gonna lie, I thought snow was like fluffy and soft, but no.
That's terrible. I wouldn't even want to go there.
Yeah. So after Nunavut, we moved to Sylvan Lake, where went to school in Eckville.
Yeah.
I did my, I think, grade 4 to grade 6, and then from Eckville I went to Sylvan Lake. Yeah. And I did my middle school there. Then my mom met someone and we moved to Panoka. That's where I finish off my middle school and went to high school.
Cool.
Yeah, so Panoka is where I finished my high school. I was the only black kid, and it was kind of awesome.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of my story.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
How's cold calling been going for you for realtors?
It's been going. It's definitely challenging, but I like the MLS better than FS, like for sale by owners, because, well, I haven't really tried FSBO, but FSBO.
Yeah.
Yes, that's way better. FSBO, me, I'm FSBO. No, but with realtors, I like it. One, because the buyers are already pretty much motivated. Well, I see them as motivated. Their house is listed for a reason, right?
Yeah, totally. They better be motivated.
Exactly. With so FSBOs, I haven't really done those yet, and I look forward to doing it. But yeah, with the luck I've had so far with realtors, I've met some really nice people, you being one of them. Realtors are very friendly people, and I look forward to working with them. There is going to be some challenges. Being a wholesalers and realtors don't typically get along, to be honest. They have challenges, and it's all how you approach everything.
Yes. And if you're integral, then it's like,
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Exactly. As long as if everyone's winning, like, I'm not going to go out there and like rip people off. That's not my thing. It's to make connections and network and possibly gain my well, how do I say it? I'm looking for the word. Can't think of the word. But develop a network and also gain some knowledge doing so. So yeah.
That's fun. So how many realtors do you think you've called?
How many realtors that I've called? Like again, I just started, so like 10.
That's awesome.
So it's not too many,
That's
but
awesome. That's pretty cool.
yeah.
That's awesome.
No, it's truly amazing, and we'll see where it goes. Lots of no's. I'm actually excited for no's, because no's means you're closer to a yes.
Yeah.
So I'm not too afraid of that, and I feel like being young, most people are afraid to hear the word no. But for me, I used to be. I mean, I wasn't always like this. Hearing the word no is actually quite motivating for me. It just makes me work that much harder.
Yeah.
So I look at this as like, I don't really see anything that could go wrong. There's legal aspects that I'm still looking into, and doing things right, because there is some parts that can really screw you over if you can do it right.
Yeah. There's a guy I follow, Bryce Kerminsky. So he's actually the one that trained me. He's my social media coach.
Yeah.
So there's a real estate guy. So he's in Winnipeg, and he currently has a course where he teaches people how to wholesale using the MLS. And so he talks about like, what does he call? calls realtors that deal with like crappy houses,
Yeah.
garbage dealers or something like that.
Yeah.
Like he's hilarious.
Wait, what's his name?
Bryce Kerminsky.
Bryce Kaminsky.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I get that? I
Yeah.
might actually watch some of his.
My phone's there. I can't text it to you. I will make
Oh,
a
yeah.
note too.
That was. I was actually also stalking your Instagram, not to be creepy,
No.
but I saw you're doing Airbnb. You're like that's very cool. It's also something I would love to learn.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Literally met the right person. No, but you were saying.
So yeah, he's got a course on how he did it because Stefan Arnio was the guy that trained him.
Yeah.
And so Stefan Arnio wrote Money People Deal, which is like a book that you would absolutely love. And so Stefan was like, man, he was awesome. He would hire people, not hire, but like you'd join like his sales force, and then you would just sit there and cold call until you found motivated sellers. And he would talk to like realtors, he'd talk to off-market properties, he'd get them under contract, and then he had, it's called the Blueprint to Cash, and it was like he took the entire step-by-step process and made a manual out of it, systematized it, and then like sold it. So his platinum program, like you could entry level for $10,000, and then you would be with like one of his minions. But to get a once a month call with Stefan was $92,000 to join his platinum program. But the people that like
92,000.
yeah, he's like, I just put it on your credit card to make it back in the first year, which most of the people probably did. Like there's Damien, one of the other guys. He owns like 114 units now, using other people's money to buy everything.
So that's how he. So that's the fun thing that I've actually just stumbled upon wholesaling. It's actually been around for so long. And it's crazy. I wish I got into it so much sooner.
When you were 12?
Yeah. Back in 2008. That's when I should have bought a house.
Those are the best memes. Why am I not a millionaire? I wasn't born in 2000.
No, exactly. No, that's amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah, so Bryce Kerminsky, so Stefan passed away. He had like cancer. He was like 33 or something.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. But then like Bryce Kerminsky and like a bunch of his other friends, they have gleaned all this knowledge off of him and took his course. And so now they've branched off and they're each doing their own thing. So I've been following all of them because I'm like, okay, you're gonna like give secrets that Stefan had and like you're just gonna like let it loose. And so I've learned a couple things by following those guys. So it's been fun.
That's amazing. So what exactly have you like? Is it all wholesaling or is it real estates?
For me, or what they do?
Well, what they do. It's typically all like
Wholesale.
wholesale.
Yeah, wholesale.
Oh my goodness.
And then they'll buy stuff using other people's money, and then they'll do some of the renovations themselves.
Yeah.
There's another guy, and he just hires everything out, but he has multiple projects on the go, because it's like, okay, I could do one and make 50,000, or I could do two and make 30,000 on each, so you're making 60,000. But this one takes more of your like skills and effort. I'd rather do the 30,000 on each, doing none of the work.
No, that's crazy. Holy smokes. Wow. So, what was my question? So, for you with wholesaling, is it something that you're going to keep doing?
So I did my first wholesale attempt the other day, because I was just like, okay, I gotta figure out how to make more money. And there's a property that I, was it 4133 36th Street? It's legally suited, which is my favorite. I think everyone should own those. And so I did the after repair market evaluation. It was worth $390, and Stefan in his book teaches a flip formula. And so he says, okay, you're going to buy a property at 60 cents on the dollar, between 40 and 60 cents on the dollar. So what he means by that is like when it's repaired, so your after repair market evaluation, that's 100% or 100 cents on the dollar. So you need to buy it at 50 cents on the dollar to make a profit. And so if it's 390, let's use 400,000 because that's easier math.
Yeah.
You need to buy it for 200,000.
Okay, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so like formulas are great. They're like a good box. If it fits in there, then it's worth exploring.
Mhm.
But yeah, you don't always have to stick to them because like Andrew Rocha, he was the guy that spoke at the last investor network meeting. He put 25,000 into his and made 55 to 75, depending on what his appraisal comes in at.
So I've always been confused on how to determine like aftermarket repair value. So do you just what kind of software do you use with that?
So the Realtor backend
Mhm.
gives you access because what the public can see is the stuff that's for sale.
Oh, I see. So you guys see the stuff that's not. Well,
That's
that's sold.
Yeah, yeah, and so because that's what people are willing to pay.
Yeah.
The stuff that's active is your competition. So you need to see what the competition is. You need to see what's sold, and you need to see what's expired because the expired is what people are not willing to pay.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So if you make a friendship with a realtor and you go, hey, like I found this off market deal, can you do an after repair market evaluation? I'll go, how much are you going to spend on it?
Mhm.
And so that I can help you with that as well. You can be like, oh yeah, I want to do, I call it lipstick and rouge. You're just doing paint and flooring,
Mhm.
and maybe the lights. And so I can do a quote. It's like, okay, roughly based on my experience, it's gonna be $80,000 to do it. So if you're buying it for 200, you're putting 80,000 into it. We're gonna borrow all the money from someone else. You don't have to put a dime in there. So you buy it for 200, put 80,000 into it. It's gonna be worth 400 when it's done.
Just based on so that 80,000 made it go up that much.
Yes.
Holy smokes.
So Andrew, at the event, we have it recorded. He bought it for $278.
Mhm.
Put 25,000 into it. So let's do 275 just for easy numbers.
Mhm.
So I bought it for 275. Put 25 into it. So he has 300,000 into it. His appraisal should come in at 379,000. So he'll have made $79,000 in equity. So it's not like cash at the moment. But what his plan is, do you know what the BRRRR method is?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a borrow. It's like buy, refinance. Forget the other part, but I'm familiar with it.
Okay. So he's going to refinance it at 379,000. Use that $79,000 worth of equity as his down payment. So you need 20% down of 379. So what's that? 2, 4, 6, 8. So basically 80,000. So he will have 79,000 worth of equity that he has built into the property. So he goes to the bank and says, "Hey, this property's worth 379,000. I would like a mortgage on it." They go, "Yeah, sure. You got 20% down? Absolutely." So they will give him a mortgage for 300,000. But he bought it for 275 and put 25 into it. So he only had 300,000. So he got all of his money out, and he still owns the property, and he's got $80,000 worth of equity, and it cash flows because it's suited.
Holy smokes. That's amazing. Oh my goodness. Wait, so my question is like, where do you get a hold of the people to like give you like that sort of first like cash investment?
So
Where do you find those people?
I did one. I went to a real estate network meeting, and they had a section where you could present deals. And so I just had a deal, and I'm like, "Hey, looking for 100 grand. Here's the numbers." It was like a minute pitch. And then afterwards, this couple came up to me and the buddy, and they're like, "Hey, like, can we sit down and talk about it?" So we sat down like the next day and chatted about it, and they gave us 90,000. So it was just networking. Sphere of influence is a good one. So family and friends. And then like, so Stefan, what he would do, he had like this pyramid. He's like, okay, wholesaling is at the bottom. It's like you just, oh no, sorry, bird dogging is at the bottom. So that's where you like, do you know what bird dogging is?
Not quite familiar.
So those guys that'll like take the signs and just put it everywhere. It's like, we buy houses for cash.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
But they just get the leads and then they give it to someone who's doing wholesaling. And if the deal closes, you cut that guy a $500 check.
It's like wait, what?
So it's like if I got a lead, someone wants to sell their house.
Yeah.
And then say I was the wholesaler.
Yeah.
You give me the lead. I go to that guy. If I can do a deal on his house, I'll give you a referral fee. That's bird dogging.
So it's like under wholesaling?
Yes.
So it's basically the people that give wholesalers the deal. That's interesting. Okay, that's actually really cool. Okay.
And so it's like $500-ish to up to $5,000 on a deal, but it would have to be like a really profitable deal, because the wholesale fees, you know, is only like, well, it could be 1,000 to 50,000, like
Yeah.
it really depends. And then wholesaling is above that, and then above that was flipping, and then buy and hold, and then to him the best of the best was being a hard money lender. I think the reason why he said that was the best of the best is because he's just above the hard money lender. He wants everyone else to be the hard money lender and give him his money so that he can do the buy and hold.
Smart man.
Yeah. Because he's like, okay, so if I have $1 million, say I was like a farmer and I was retiring and I have this property, selling it, and I'm gonna put it in the bank and make 2%, or I can give it to you and you're like, hey, I've got this deal, I'll give you 10% interest throughout the year, but if you can do a flip in 3 months, you're only paying like 2.5% interest, because it's like you're not paying the whole 10% interest
Yeah.
because it's more for the year. And so that you just basically just find people like that, and then if you consistently bring deals to people like that, they're gonna want to give you that money and hope you carry it for the year, because like they made 2.5% in 3 months. That's what they're gonna make in a year at their bank.
Oh, okay. This is really cool.
So,
Okay.
So what we did, like starting out, you could, but usually you have to give more of the pie. So when we bought that apartment building in Castor, we brought none of our own money. And so Money People Deal talks about the 3 parts to every real estate transaction: the money, the people, and the deal. And the more pieces of the pie you bring, the more ownership of the real estate you get to keep. And so we brought the deal, and we were going to be the people. So we kept 50%. He was bringing the money and the qualifying power. So he got 50%. So we had nothing in the deal, and we got 50% ownership. Whereas if I was more experienced, then I could be like, just lend me your 90,000, hold it for a year, pay you 10% interest, buy you out in the end. Like if I sold it or refinanced it or something, so that I could have the money to pay him back, then I would own all of it, and I only had to give him a little bit of interest. So it's better to own the entire thing. But starting out, it's like, yeah, sure, I'll give you 50% of profit.
Yeah. No, I understand. That's so. How many, like you just said that you purchased an apartment complex? How many properties do you own?
Currently, I own 4.
Holy
Or
smokes.
5.
You own 5 properties? That's amazing. That is so cool.
Yeah.
So are they all like are they like triplexes? Like,
I've got a vacant lot
yeah.
in Mere.
Yeah.
So I bought it for 10,000. It's now worth 17,000. I've owned it since I was 13 years old.
Holy, you started 13. That's yeah. I don't know what I was doing when I was 13.
My mom is a genius. She's how I learned everything. Just making sure you're still in frame.
Oh, I have to scoot it.
No, you're good. So my mom is a genius. She's been a realtor. She works here. She's been a realtor for 45 years. She started when she was 18 years old. And so she's the one who taught me everything that I know. So I was homeschooled as well, so I got to like sit with her, and like she's talking real estate on the phone all the time. We're at the dinner table talking about real estate because we're homeschooled, so I was around her the entire time. So I just, and like I'd go to her with her on showings and stuff, so that's how I kind of learned everything.
That's amazing. Oh, okay. I found a new best friend.
Sounds good.
No, that is so cool. Wow.
So what did you pay for your property?
So for my house, I got it. I didn't really know what I was doing. So I got it for. It was listed for $234, and we taught them down to. It wasn't much. They were being very nice people. Only taught them down like $4,000. No, it was listed for $239. Taught them down to $230. But
That's awesome.
at first, I'd probably, if I knew, like, hot water tank was gonna go, water pressure system, like the plumbing, it's all copper,
Okay. Yep.
which is okay, but it also has its like, nah, they didn't do it right, so I might have some plumbing issues.
Okay.
And yeah, now I kind of know what to look for.
That's awesome.
Well, the basics, I don't know everything.
That's crazy. bought a house when you're 19.
Yeah, you had a property when you were 13, so I think that just like cuts it.
Someone died and left me money. I didn't
Oh,
work for it.
okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Geez, I feel bad now.
I didn't know. Yeah.
No.
So you bought it for $230,000.
Yeah.
So it was like 3 years ago. Is it the one by the railway?
No,
'cause
it's
I
by
saw-
the Abbey Center. Yeah.
That's cool. I sold. So you know where the Abbey Center is that way.
Mhm.
I was thinking of the other one. That's cool. And so I call the ones that you have keepers. Just never ever sell it because
Why
real
is that?
estate is so like I'm 50% Jewish.
Yeah.
Race, not religion. And so the Jews' strategy for buying things.
Mhm.
You've heard of buy low, sell high.
Yeah.
So the Jews just buy low.
Yeah.
They just never sell.
So they just hold on to
They
it.
just hold on to it forever. So that's like real estate is a buy and hold game.
Mhm.
If you can just keep that forever, like when that's paid for, it's going to pay for your kids' college education because you won't be like it's your first home. It's not your forever home.
Mhm.
So that's going to cash flow like $2,000 by the time your son, whenever you choose to have kids,
Mhm.
is 18. It will be paid for. So you're going to cash flow $2,000 a month. If you had $2,000 a month to go to college right now, like that'd be pretty sweet for your
That
kids.
would be sick. I wish I had that. But no, I don't think I could ever sell a house.
I'll convince you not to sell it, unless it's like okay, you're selling one and you're playing Monopoly and turning it into a hotel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're buying something bigger.
So what do you have for like you have 4 properties, and how do I get to a position like you're in? Like what should I do?
So you're still working, you're going to college. I would buy as much real estate before going to college,
Mhm.
because when you go to school, your income drops, and so like your qualifying power then goes down.
Mhm.
And so the strategy that all my friends do is you buy something that's suited. So I've got one for sale that I personally own.
Mhm.
It's $249,000 by West Park,
Mhm.
so close to RDP. 249,000 legally suited. So it's got the basement suite downstairs, registered with the city, and it's got the suite upstairs. And so I rent out this for $1,300 and this for $950. These guys have been here for 5 years. You could get $1,900, so $500 more. So I buy something like that because if you move into it, as you know, you can buy for 5% down. So it's not just the first house; it's every single house that you move into. You can buy for 5% down.
So what's your theory behind like the 5% compared to the 20% down? Would you ever put 20% down on a property if you had to, or is it something that
I'd rather have 4 houses at 5%.
than one house?
20.
See, that's exactly right. It makes sense because no, exactly. I feel like more people need to understand that, right?
Yeah.
Because 20% is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
And
$8,000 sitting there.
It's just, I know it's just like even for a $200,000 house, 20% like it's a lot.
Yeah.
So like
10,000.
most people that I've talked to, like my friends, when I tell them like it's not as hard as it seems, like 5% down, no one understands that it's like 5% down. And I know like in some states, like the United States, is like 3.5% down.
Crazy.
So like for the first time home buyers, I know there's some programs that you could do to get some really good deals.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Because 5% is manageable, 20% is, I don't think I've ever, even as a rental property, I know for if it's like a rental property and you're not living in it, you have to put 20% down.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
could you buy multiple houses with 5%?
Yeah, you can have.
Or do they have to be like, you have to live in them for like at least?
Yeah, so it's all about the hard intent. Like, don't do mortgage fraud.
So how would you do that? So like if you had the cash and you wanted to purchase 2 properties.
So you would turn house number 1, the one in Black Falls,
Mhm.
you would turn that into a rental.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to do it like right away because what they do is like, okay, I'm going to the mortgage broker and I'm telling them I want to buy house number 2. It's going to bring in income, but I'm going to turn house number 1 into a rental because I don't want to sell it. So they'll go, okay, what will it rent for? And then it probably would rent for like $2,100 plus utilities right now. So you'd say, well, it'd be about $2,100 plus utilities. So they punch that into their calculator and they go, okay, you're approved for $300,000 to buy a house. And then you go, okay, wait a second. The house that I'm going to buy has a suite in the basement. And they go, oh, you're approved for $350,000 because the rental income from the basement adds to your personal income. So the house helps you buy the house. And so then you can get pre-approved for $350,000, keeping this house, and then you buy this house here. And the great thing is it'll be cheaper than living here because right now you've got income coming from it while you stay there.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be the same here. Because you live upstairs, it's got 3 bedrooms, hypothetically. You live downstairs, rent out the basement, and then you rent out the rooms to friends.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got $950 coming in here, $500 from this room, $500 from this room. You're living there for free. Plus, you've got cash flow, probably cash flowing, even if it's $100 a month. Cash flowing $100 a month from house number 1. You now have 2 mortgages that are being paid down, 2 houses that are appreciating in value. You're living for free, and you got $100 a month cash flow.
That's, oh my goodness, that's, so you're a deal that, oh my goodness, that's so crazy. So like I was thinking, because I was like, okay, eventually I want to purchase my second house, and it's addicting. I was conflicted between choosing Airbnb, short-term rentals, and then focusing on, or long-term rentals. So what's your opinion with that?
Airbnb makes double or triple what long-term rentals.
So which one would you? I mean, it's like, would you still lean towards Airbnb?
So it costs about $10,000 to set up an Airbnb because you can't just have like Kijiji furniture that doesn't match. It's gotta like look good. So if you can get house number 2 but don't have $10,000 left over to turn that one into an Airbnb, I'd rather just have 2 long-term rents.
Okay. Okay, no, that makes sense. All right. And with Airbnb, I've been hearing lots of rumors. I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into it about some implications that are coming to Canada.
Yeah. So in places where it's prohibited, they've taken away your write-offs. So like your utilities, you can't write off against your income. So you just have to pay more taxes. But like
that's pretty much it. Just more taxes in general.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not bad. I thought they were like no more.
Yeah, like we're good here.
Oh, okay.
Because there's no rules for like you can rent out an illegal basement suite legally on Airbnb because there's no rules for it here. Sylvan Lake, you have to get a license, so it's not prohibited. Whereas like BC or something, it's like okay, you literally can't do Airbnb. So if you're doing Airbnb illegally, you can't write it off against your taxes.
So that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they'll do that here. I hope they don't. That'd suck.
That would suck.
Yeah.
I mean, would you still do it if they did though?
If it was illegal, I wouldn't do it. But if they just put more restriction on it, I'd still do it because there'd be less competition.
That's a good way of thinking.
And if they add like new taxes and stuff, like interest rates go up, rent goes up. So we just pass it on to the tenants.
I like that.
Yeah, we don't pay the interest.
No, we
The
don't.
tenants do.
And that's also something that most people are confused about. They're always, I have a few friends that are trying to kind of enlighten and show them. Their main concern is interest rates and when to buy, when's the perfect time to buy. Yesterday, exactly. Do you mind explaining that? Like,
so interest rates used to be 21%. My mom locked in at 17% for 5 years, and that was a good rate. 1.89, that's probably what you have, like 1.89 or 2.2.
no, I didn't do fixed. I did variable because I wasn't.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So interest rates have kind of always been 5.5%. So that's normal. COVID rates is abnormal. Like it did get down to 3-ish. It could go back down to that. But like, so I've got a townhouse, and I was renting it for $11.95, and now I rent it for $15.95. So $400 extra a month. My mortgage didn't go up $400. It's actually still it. The old.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So it's just like you just pass it on to the tenants. Like eventually, like if they're in a lease, you might have to eat that increase for a little bit. But then when it comes up for renewal, you just say, hey, like my mortgage went up, so your rent's went up. like, so like mom's got some properties. Some of them, the mortgage payment went up like $700-800.
Holy smokes.
With a line of credit, variable interest rate.
Yeah.
Can't really increase it that much on people because, like, yeah, that'd be criminal. So increased it $500. $500 was manageable. And then if they like come back and they go, oh, like I can't do it, it's like, okay, like could you do $350? So you can kind of like work with your tenants.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay.
Because you're still paying off the mortgage.
Yeah.
And hers are holding properties, so she's already like, so she bought it for like, I don't know, $350, and it's worth like $900.
Holy smokes.
So, like, so when mom started buying real estate, there was no such thing as cash flow. It was all subsidy, like we had to subsidize it. So it's like every month I had to contribute $100 to my mortgage because the interest was 17%. But you're paying off the mortgage, and like he bought a house for $90,000. It's now $390,000. So
That's crazy. No, I understand what you get. Wow. So how many properties does your mom have?
She's owned 42 in her life.
What? That's crazy. 42 properties.
Yeah.
Is there a limit, like, where you get to, like, because I'm sure you're approaching that limit too, like, where the bank's like, no, we're not gonna give you more money,
Yeah.
or like where your income kind of cancels out. Like, where is that? Is that like house 3 or?
It depends. It's all like, it depends on what you make. If you make $1 million, they'll just keep giving you mortgages because your debt. My wife's a mortgage broker, so there's like a debt service calculator. So it's like, okay, I make $1 million. My mortgages are $800,000 a year. I've got $200,000 worth of buying power.
Okay, I see. So as long as if it keeps growing, they'll keep giving you money.
And then when you move out of house number 1 and turn it into a rental, that income covers most of your expenses. So like if it brings in $2,000 a month and your payment's $1,500 a month, then it kind of like, it's like it doesn't exist on your debt service ratio because it covers itself.
So what's typically the rule for renting out? Like, if you buy a $200,000 property, how much should you rent it out per month? Like, how do you do it?
If I'm putting 5% down, I want $500 a month cash flow. If I'm putting 20% down, I want $1,000 a month.
5% down, $500. How do you calculate that? Just like 5% down.
Just experience, like, because I deal with a lot of investors, and so it's like, hey, what are you renting your place out for? Ah, that's pretty sweet. I've got a similar one. I could probably get that for mine. And then the realty store, since I work here, they can give me rental quotes, and they're on top of it. It's like, hey, rents went up. Your lease is coming up for renewal. We're increasing the rent because they work for the investors. So they're very on top of like what current rents are. So if I'm not certain, I actually had a guy. So he bought a house, and he's like, "What do you think I could rent it for?" I'm like, probably $2,200. He bought it for $250,000, and he's like, I told him to make a Facebook ad just with a blank picture, just like a generic house, and put it up there. Just put a description, renting it for $2,200 a month plus utilities. Leave it up for 10 hours, and see how many inquiries you get, because that'll give you like an indication of if it's priced right. And so he left it up, had like 12 inquiries in the first 10 hours, and posted it at midnight.
Wow. Okay, this is awesome.
Yeah, so you like test the market. You just put an ad out there. Take it. Don't leave it up because you don't want to like.
Like people's.
Yeah. And so then you posted at $2,500. Oh, I got 2 inquiries. So you can kind of play with it that way.
That's actually really smart. Okay. So do you guys also do property management here?
Yeah.
So what's your rates for that? How much you guys charge for?
They just dropped it. It used to be 10%. Now it's 7%.
So it's 7% of like the monthly rental income. Do you have property management, or do you do it all yourself?
I manage it myself.
Do you prefer that over these guys? Well, just in like property management in general.
I do, because then I make that 7%.
awesome. I'm so happy I met you.
Yeah, thanks for going for coffee.
No, exactly. I gotta drink mine. Tastes so good though. Oh, but yeah.
Where do you go to the gym?
I go to Good Life.
Ah, sweet.
I like them because you can go anywhere. Because I travel quite a bit for work. So if I'm in GP, I actually don't have one in GP. But if I'm in Edmonton, they have one.
That's cool.
I like it because of the equipment.
Yeah, it's so much better. I go to Anytime Fitness and it's like not as good.
I've actually never been in there. How is it? Like, is it?
They moved locations, but they just brought the same equipment there, so it's like same equipment, bigger space.
It's bigger?
Yeah. Or it's not
What?
than Good Life.
Oh, my
bigger than their
what?
location. My buddy Jared was there, so that's the reason why I started going there.
Oh, sorry to cut you off.
No worries.
Well, what's your monthly? Like, what do you guys?
50. It's basically the same as Good Life.
What the heck? I thought it'd be like
25 bi-weekly. I think is Good Life's. So
Yeah, Good Life is so expensive. It's like
Oh, because if you've got the traveling membership, it's more than.
it's like it's like $75-$80. Yeah.
That's pretty fun. I'm working out since for like 6 years. It's fun, but my goal was to be 168 pounds, and then my wife's like, "No, I want you to be like more like 200." I'm like, "I'm working so hard to be at that," but yeah.
So what? Wait. So you want to be 200? Like, oh, that's.
Yeah, like I'm 205 now.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's crazy, like because I kind of look in my mind. I look much bigger than I was before. Yeah, it's fun.
No, it is. It makes you more confident. It's just I was really small. I'm not saying
You're
big.
jacked.
No, I want to be like The Rock, except more hair. That's too big. My goal is to be 200. I'll trade you.
Well, there was one guy that I was talking to, and he's like, I was doing 45 minutes of cardio after every workout, and he's like, why? Like, what's your goal? I'm like, like the armor of God, I want to look like that. I'm just like, and he's like, okay, well, don't do cardio because eventually you're gonna get to the point where you're gonna have to start eating more. So just work out, and then your body will eventually be buff.
What kind of system? Because I used to be like 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, but then I realized it's too much. So I cut down to like 3 days a week, and I'm just focusing on eating. Like that's my main thing is just eating.
What do you eating? Chicken, rice, and broccoli.
Yeah, so I'm a black guy eating chicken. I'm just kidding. No, pretty much. That's pretty much it.
Cool. That's awesome.
I wish I could. I'm trying to learn how to cook more. So then, yeah. The goal is to have a chef. I have a chef.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be sweet.
I'll go to the gym every day. That'd be so sick. Yeah.
So for me, like I was going 6 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
But now with a baby, it's like, oh man, it's hard. So 3 times a week for me is like maintaining, and then anything above that is gains. It's kind of the way I picture it. But yeah, I've been like once a week lately. It's just hard. It's a child is a lot of work.
No, it's by all means. How old's your baby?
8 months.
8 months. Oh, is it boy or girl?
Boy. No.
Boy. Noah?
Yeah.
That's your first one?
Yep.
That is awesome, man.
It's very fun.
That's so cool. You're like a mini you.
Yep.
I can't wait for that. That's so cool.
So
Yeah.
my mom told me when I was young, she's like, okay, you can't start dating until you can afford a wife. I'm like, oh, well, I already own 2 properties. And she's like, no, that doesn't count. Because I wasn't like, I was, she was telling me that when I was like 16 or something.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you had 2 when you were 16?
yeah.
Oh my god.
Because that guy passed away, and so he left my brother and I each like a lump sum, and so we bought that lot in Mirror for $10,000. So I bought one, Cole bought one. Cole's my brother, and then we each had 20 grand left over, and Mom for part of school set out 3 options for us: low risk, medium risk, and high risk. What we wanted to do with our money. One was like put it in stocks. One was buy a single family house, and And then I think the third one was like give it to her and she buys a property or something like that. So we chose the medium risk. Now that I think about it, she was like pushing us towards the one. So we bought a property over in Mount View by the IGA drugstore. And so we gave her the money. She qualified for the mortgage. And we still own it today.
Did she put you as beneficiary?
So
How does it work?
Cole was able to go on title that year or the next year. But it started in her name and then she just added Cole. And then when I turned 18, she added me to the title. But what we did beforehand is like, okay, yeah, if someone dies, the title just says it's in my mom's name. So she had like a joint venture agreement that we both signed. I don't know if it was legal or not because I don't know if you can sign a document when you're 13. Just saying like, okay, Cole owns 25% of this property and here's why. Bryce owns 25% of this property and here's why. They put money towards the down payment. So that way there wouldn't be inheritance tax. But now we're all on title.
That's amazing, man. Your mom is, wow. Kind of jealous. Could she be my mom? No, she's really like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, she's awesome. Then the house, so then I bought another one when I was 18. So my dad gave me 5% down and qualified for the mortgage. So it's another free property, basically.
Wait, he gave you 5% down
Yeah.
and then he qualified for the mortgage?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're 50-50 on title. Had a suite down in the basement, or the potential of a suite, which had like just a room and a bathroom, so we turned it into a suite. So I still own it today. I do
Wow.
Airbnb out of the basement.
Seriously, that's sick. So this is awesome now that you have your son, are you gonna do the same thing? Or
Probably.
yeah?
Because it's a great way to buy investment property.
No, literally, like what?
Yeah, you can buy for 5% down.
Wow.
They have to move into it. So like, they have to be like, okay, this is your property. Like it's all about the part intent. The way my dad did it is you could buy a second property for yourself. I don't know, I want a second property in the same city, but the bank said it's okay. It was funny, we're at the lawyers. He's like, are you gonna live in the property, Bryce? I'm like, for a day. And he's like, that's mortgage fraud. I can't have you sign this document. I'm like, no, like I talked to the mortgage broker. She said it's perfectly fine. He's like, nope, it's all right. And so then the branch manager called the lawyer and she's like, no, like it's perfectly fine. It's a second house for the parent. And so then he's like, oh, okay, never heard of that before. So then he put it through. So in my case, I wouldn't be able to structure it that way. So
Yeah.
he would actually have to go and live in the property. So I'd probably buy something like if he's going to the college or something.
Yeah.
Go stay there, get 2 of your friends to live there. You can collect that money, and like that can be like,
So you actually have to be there.
yeah, it's gotta be your
Yes.
primary residence.
Okay. That's something. So like, okay.
So
that
many
makes
people
sense.
try and skim it, and it's like, it's just, like,
It gets messy probably really quick.
it's just not worth it. It's
Yeah.
like, it's just way better to be above board. Then you don't have to worry.
Okay. I like that.
So do you have money saved for a down payment now?
This is actually a funny story. So that's why I'm doing wholesaling. Save up a down payment for my second one because I was planning on buying another one with my mom. I was gonna do like a co-sign.
Yep.
And we were trying to do one like an Airbnb in Rimby.
Yep.
And see how that goes. But I still have to get the what's it called? Down payment figured out and then hopefully. But I'm not sure if I should do that now or find one next to the college. It was either that, do one in Rimby, if it was do an Airbnb, or go to Edmonton and do like an apartment there. I don't know, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, because you still have your jobs. You have to be at your jobs for 2 years. So have you been in the same industry for 2 years?
Not in the same industry. I thought it was 6 months of job experience or no.
If they give you a letter, then
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I've been in with these guys for a year, and then my mom has had that job for like, I think like 5 years. So that's how I was kind of using her.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that should work. You can get in with 0 down, just creatively.
Wait, how?
So
Wait, what?
So
Wait, can you pass me my book? This is crazy. 0 down. Okay, hold on a sec. What's all right? So what do I need for 0 down?
So they give you a line of credit, and they use that as your down payment.
How does that work?
So it used to be this like shady. You take it, put it in your bank, leave it there for 90 days, and now it becomes your money.
Yeah.
And you can use it as down payment. So I didn't really like that.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can actually just like, okay, I want to get a mortgage,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to get a line of credit, and I want to use that as my down payment. And the bank says, okay, perfect. I like that.
Wait, what? Okay,
Yeah.
that just blew my mind. So I go to the bank and I ask for I want a mortgage and I want a line of credit.
Yeah, I go to the mortgage broker because they can just do it all for you.
Do you know any mortgage brokers?
My wife's a mortgage broker.
Is it okay if I use her?
Absolutely, she'd love that.
Okay, so I go to a mortgage broker. I say, hey, I want a line of credit.
And use it towards my down payment. It's called a flex down because it's a flexible down payment. Doesn't have
So like,
cash.
does it get added to your mortgage?
It gets added to your debt service ratio. So say your mortgage is going to be $2,000 a month on the mortgage, but you're going to have tenants and they're going to help pay for it.
Yeah.
And then your line of credit, say it's a $15,000 line of credit, and then your payment is like say $300 on that. So they'll just use their calculation to make sure that you qualify for both before you go and get it, because you don't want to like go get a line of credit
And then not qualify for the
Yeah.
mortgage.
Don't do a little brain work first.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I know.
What?
It just happened this year. The first time I ever heard about it, I was like talking with someone. I'm like,
Because I see those like the 0 down. I'm like it's too good to be true. It's like
That's
those
a
like
thing.
literally like what?
Yeah, I was like, everyone and their mom can buy a house now.
And you do this for as many houses as you want.
As many as you can qualify for. Yeah.
Okay, that's a game changer.
I know.
That's literally so that means like anyone could qualify for a house pretty much.
Yeah. You want a house, you got a job, and you don't have like $1 gajillion in debt, go ahead. But yeah, and so then you would just want to make sure that like, because like I still think you should be a realtor, because you're basically doing everything that a realtor does. You're telling your friends, hey, bought a house, and this is why you should do it, and then they use you, and then you make a commission, and then you can sell any house.
It's crazy. You think that? Huh. So like the course you said your buddy took it in like a month.
Yeah, yeah, because it's self-paced, so it's just you got a year to do it, but he just crushed it out in a month.
So what are the pros and cons of? I mean, the pros is like you have access to like MLS, like networking, all that stuff. So what are the cons of becoming like a realtor? What are some challenges that you have experienced?
So if you're not self-motivated, you won't make anything. It's a business. 80% of all businesses fail. If you don't, like, you have to be comfortable with talking with random people, which you're good at. So say I sold a house today, I get paid on closing. And that could be 100 days, 120 days from now. So like you have to be budget well, because like you're like a 10 grand check, but then like the next one doesn't come for like I don't know, a little bit.
Wait, it's 100 days. Like, oh, like you're saying like if the property doesn't, it could sell like quicker than that.
Yeah, like
Okay.
it could be like cash that closes in 10 days. Usually it's like 30 to 45 days. So I sell a house and I get paid a month from now. So you just have to, and like you can have multiple closings. Like you can sell a couple houses, you can sell a house a week, and so then you've got four checks coming in. Like I've never had I worked at Best Buy for a little bit, but I've always been a realtor, and so like I'm used to having just like a weird budget. It's like, okay, checks are coming like December 10th, December 21st, and so then you just have to like budget well, because it doesn't, and like even if it closes say on like January 1st, the lawyer gets the money, then they transfer it to the brokerage, and then the brokerage sends it to my brokerage, then they cut me a check. So it could be we had one, it was 21 days after it closed, I got paid. So it was 30 days and then another 21 days.
Jeez.
So you just have to budget well. But if you're living in a house for free, because you're renting to people, then it's easier to budget that way. But it can be stressful.
And how much is
Yeah.
How much is schooling?
I think it's 1,100 for the first course. It's probably like 4,000,
4,000.
and you put it on a credit card.
So why do you prefer this one over wholesaling?
For wholesaling, it's
Can you do both, or no?
yes.
Or is that where it gets like tricky?
It does get tricky. So I bought a property. So like, okay, so I'm gonna go do it for sale by owner. I've done for sale by owners. Met with them, go through the property, and my goal is to convince them to list with real estate, because so if I didn't make people more money than they could on their own, I wouldn't exist. So I have to be able to explain to them why they will lose money selling themselves. It's fun. It's like debating. But as a wholesaler, my job is to get that deal at the best price possible so I can resell it to someone else, and solve their problems at the same time.
Yeah.
But as a realtor, I can do both. I can make a really good wage, and I can get them more money than they could selling themselves.
That's where I'm confused. How do you do that? Because to make a good wage, it's commissions 6 to 7%, right? Or is it more?
So,
I don't know how it
Depends on the realtor. It
Yeah?
can be as low as $1.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I showed a house one time. I don't look at the commission until after the deal's done because I don't want to be swayed by how much the commission is. I printed off the wrong sheet one time. I printed off the realtor sheet and I gave it to my client, and at the bottom it showed what the commission is. It was $1, and the guy's like, "Price? Am I reading this right? Are you gonna make $1 if I buy this house?" I'm like, I'll actually lose $299 because I got to pay my office $300 to put it through. He's like, "Well, I'm not gonna buy this house. I'm gonna buy another one so you get paid." I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm in it for the long haul. You're gonna buy this one. You're gonna refer people to me. Like, it doesn't matter. So I do the complete opposite. I offer the realtors a bonus commission. So when they look at that sheet, they're like, I want to sell this house. And so, so I just do the complete opposite. And so the reason why I net them more money is because all the realtors want to sell my house. Just imagine if you go to work tomorrow, make $75 an hour, or go to the exact same job down the road. Same boss, same company, just different location. Make $110 an hour. Which job are you going to go to first?
110.
Right. And so if two houses are identical, one's paying slightly more, which house is that realtor going to try and push his client towards if it doesn't hurt him?
Slightly more.
Yeah. So he's going to push him towards my house. So my house is going to sell first. So it's going to sell faster, and it's going to sell for more money because that realtor wants it to go through. And so he's not going to like lowball me. He's not going to nickel and dime me on a property inspection if like something's broken. He's going to go, nope, it's priced as is, not as we like it to be, and because he wants that deal to go through. So there's going to be less problems for my client, and that can't really put a price on less stress. So it's going to sell for more money. It's going to sell faster, and there's going to be fewer problems, which is what they want.
Wait, so how do you do that? I'm so confused. So if you have a $200,000 house that you have, and you want to sell it, how do you convince people to come to your $200,000 house again?
Yeah, so I put 777 at the end of all my listings. So like when you're looking at Realtor.ca, it's like house is 300,000, that one's 299,900, that one's 299,900. So I put 299, 777, so that the realtors know when they're looking through all the 30 houses that they could show their client, they see a 777. They know it's a Team Candor listing. They know they're going to get paid a fair wage. And then I also do some other stuff to make it like show better and like be presented well. So we price it right because we only get one chance to make a good first impression. So that realtor wants to sell that house, and so if he's got 30 houses he can pick from, which one's going to make it on that list to show their clients?
Oh.
So it sells faster because we get on the list.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, so if a realtor that doesn't work here, they're more like eager to sell you guys' houses because you give them like a bonus?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
And we're the only realtors that do this. Like other realtors will offer like a $500 bonus. Like the average realtor charges 3% on the first 100,000 and 1.5% on the balance. So if it's a $300,000 house, it's going to be $3,000 on the first 100,000, 3% on the first 100,000, and then 1.5% on the balance. So whatever is after that. If it's $1 million house, you get 1.5% on 900,000. And
So it's never 6%. I always thought it was just like 6%.
I'm 6%.
Yeah.
Mom and I are the only realtors in Alberta that charge 6%. And so
So everyone charges 3%.
it varies. Like there's $1 from $1 to 6%. We used to be 7%, but we figured out we can net our clients the same amount of money by charging them only 6%. Because they still sell fast, they sell for more money because the realtors incentivized because other realtors are discounting their commission. It's like, okay, well, it's a disservice to our clients. We want more showings, more realtors showing our properties, because that's the best way to get multiple offers, which is the best way to get our clients more money. So we can get a bidding war, then it's going to sell for over this price. We sell 86% of our listings. The average realtor, charging an average commission, makes 60%. Sells 60% of their listings. So if you go to a doctor tomorrow for a life-saving surgery, which doctor would you want to go to? The one that has a 60% chance of surviving, or one that has an 86% chance of surviving? It might cost a little bit more to go to the doctor that has a better chance of saving your life. So you're going to go to the 86%. So I sell 86% of all my listings. The average realtor sells 60% of his listings. So my client, like, I don't want listings, I want solds. So my client, if they're listing with me, they have an 86% chance of selling for above average prices because we net them more money. So like on average, our houses sell for 1.5% within 1.5% of list price. The average realtor may or may not even sell the property, but we have an 86% chance of selling for within 1.5% chance, or 1.5% list price, and we do some things to net our client more money. So it's like, okay, there was a house, they listed it for $330,000. We would have listed it for $389,000. So they paid a normal commission, but if they would have went to us, we would have had a higher net price because they would have made, like, they left $40,000-$50,000 on the table after paying us.
So where did that 389 come from compared to the 330? Is it just like
experience? The realtor that priced it wrong. It's hard to price a house. Like, it takes a lot of work to figure out what a house is worth. And then we can do certain things like bribe the realtor to get their clients in the door so we can build excitement and get lots of offers. We just do different things than realtors, but we're the only realtors that do this. Like for 45 years, Mom has done this strategy, and 86% of our listings are sold. And it's like, if you're becoming a realtor, like, you should join our team. And then, like, because say you became a realtor and you're doing it the normal way, you're gonna sell 60% of your listings, and you're gonna make 3% on the first 100,000, 1.5% on the balance. Or you can make 6%, almost double, and almost sell all of your listings. So you're gonna have to work half as hard to make the same amount.
So does that apply for, like, let's say an agent has a listing and there's a buyer that contacts them. Do they get double commission?
So you can set it up any way you want. We give half the commission to the buying agent and half the commission to the selling agent. So in that case, I'm the selling agent, and whoever brings the buyer is the buying agent.
So it's 3%, 3%?
Yeah.
So if it's just one realtor, is it 6%?
Yeah, because you got to do twice the amount of work. You got to bring the buyer, and you got to do the seller.
So then, why don't more realtors Well, I'm pretty sure they will do that.
Yes. Yeah.
Like double agents.
Yeah, they try and sell their own listings, but it's like when there's 365 other realtors out there, all trying to sell your property.
It's easier.
They just have a higher odds of selling yours before you find a buyer for it.
Oh, I see. Okay. It's all like a numbers game in a sense.
And my average listing sells in 11 days. So if I get a listing, if I found a person that wanted to sell their house, got it under contract, listing contract, put it on the MLS, 11 days later, it's sold.
So speed, basically.
Yeah, faster. More money.
It's wow. Okay, this is really cool. Okay,
So if you want to become a realtor, you can join our team.
this is amazing. So your mom owns. Well, you and your mom own this place now?
No, we just work here. We just hang our license here.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm confused. Actually, no. Okay. All right. No, that's really cool. All right. I like that. I like that a lot.
So buying a house with 0 down, got that, become a realtor.
I got chicken notes, but
That's good.
this one's cool.
Oh, hard things about being a realtor. So if you're a realtor, just doing it the normal way, it's hard to stand out in business. So you need that competitive edge. So our competitive edge is like kind of what we just went through. We're the only realtors that do it. I talked with one realtor one time. I'm like, hey, if you sent me all of your listings, you would make the same amount, actually more, doing none of the work, because I'll sell more listings than you will, and you'll make almost double the commission. And so even if I took half, you're making the same amount doing
But
less. He's no longer a realtor.
What does he do? Oh,
He like has a bunch of he's got a couple businesses, but just not a realtor anymore. He goes to my church.
Do you go to which one is it? Just the one off the highway?
Yeah, but towards Gasoline Alley.
Is it that new one?
Yeah.
The really big one?
Yeah.
That one's really nice.
It's fun.
I've been there a couple times. Oh no, that's really cool. So what's the end goal?
Well, to be the greatest, you gotta be the least. So Apple, if you think about your Apple phone, how many people do they serve with their phone?
Like lots. Crazy, yeah.
So they serve people, and they're the greatest. So the goal is basically just to help people. Sneaky way of becoming the greatest.
No, that makes sense. I like it. Okay. Any other tricks?
So many things.
So many things. I have one question. For like a triplex or one of those larger properties, do you still need 20% or can you get away with 5%?
You can get in for so on a triplex you can get in for 5%. On a fourplex you can get in for 10%.
Okay. Triplex.
I was just with a guy. He bought a fourplex, put in 10% down, moved into one of the units, rented out the other 3, lived for free. Then he turned one of them into an Airbnb, and then he moved out and turned his other one into an Airbnb. He went from making like $3,700 a month to making $7,000 a month.
Jeez. You literally doubled it.
Yeah.
That's why Airbnb's like, I'm like, this is so like glistening. I like it.
It costs money to set up. Like to do it right, it's like 10 grand. But then it's good for a while. Yeah. So I'd rather like. So businesses make money. So Airbnb is like a business. Businesses make cash flow. Real estate builds net worth. So it's like your property, you bought it for a good price, it's worth more now. So your net worth has increased, plus you've paid the mortgage down, so your net worth has increased. And then when you move out and turn it into a rental, it's like a business. It doesn't make as much as Airbnb. Like if you cash flow $1,000 on Airbnb, you might cash flow like $200 on long-term rent, but you're still paying the mortgage down and you're still appreciating in value, so your net worth is building. So if you get a couple of those properties, then eventually when you're 25 years later, they're paid for and you can retire. So it's like, because you just have that cash flow coming in. So it really depends what you want to do. It's like, okay, is real estate my end goal, or is it just a means to get me to what's my dream?
Okay, I see what you mean. Okay, that makes sense. All right. Okay. What? Oh, actually, you guys already answered. You already answered that question. No, I love it. Love it.
This one.
Oh yeah, title companies. Where do you find?
It's in the States. We don't have it.
We don't have it.
No.
I was so confused. So like, what's like if I had to do legal work, it's a lawyer.
Yeah, because like title companies, so you can pull title for $10,
Yeah.
and then you can see who owns it. So anyone can do that. Spin2 is the website. SPIN 2-Alberta.
Spin2-Alberta.
Yep. So you can go in there, and for $10 you can pull the title to see who owns it.
And the liens and all that stuff will show on there.
Yeah.
So I don't need to. So then, for representation, so like I have a mock document. I just go to the lawyer and just say like, like this is what I have. Would it work? Would it pass? Or
Like a purchase agreement, or
yeah.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
Sorry, I might have misunderstood your question to begin, because in the States they have title companies. So you
But
can,
here, yeah, because I know like because I kept watching these wholesaling videos, and then like you have to have a title company represent you, just to protect yourself, and the buyer.
yeah,
and
so
then-
that'd be States.
So it's all. Oh.
Yeah. So here you just have your purchase agreement, and that's the only thing that covers you.
So there's this. That one's just a mock one.
Have you read through it?
Yeah, briefly.
I like that. I helped a wholesaler one time. It was a great deal. He brought it to me. I'm like, man, this is cheap. So then I found a friend of mine, and I was like, hey, you should buy this property. Didn't get paid or anything. I just wanted to do it for free. But he used my purchase contract, like the Realtor purchase contract. And so he's being trained by this big wig in Calgary, and he does like he's done 200 flips, so 200 properties, and he's training people. And so I'm like, okay, like I don't represent this wholesaler, I represent my client. And so I use my purchase agreement, and in my purchase agreement it doesn't say this line here. This property says this property is sold as is, so that's good for you. My purchase contract says I saw it and it needs to be in the condition I saw it in. And you, Mr. Seller, are saying that it works, that everything in your property works, not as is. And there was like a hole in the roof, and water's leaking through,
Oh my goodness.
and the utilities weren't on, so he didn't know if the water worked or if there's holes in the pipes. Turn it on and it explodes. Mr. Seller, you said that this property works. And I'm like, okay, like, send it to your guy. Like, I know he's being mentored by him. I'm like, send it to your guy, get it signed. So he signs it all, and we go back, and possession comes around, and we turn the water on, and I'm like, just so you know, like, if there's a hole or something in the water, like, you're gonna have to fix it. He's like, oh no, the property's as is, where is? It doesn't say that in my contract. And he's like, oh, that's my understanding. I'm like, well, that's not how it works. It's whatever's written down. Like, thankfully, there's nothing wrong with it.
Mhm.
But I was just like, man, whoever's training you didn't.
Wait, so it's good to have that, or
Yes,
not?
that's good.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
good.
I was like, oh shit.
yeah. But for him, I was like,
Because if anything does happen, so I do have a question. Do you put you put in offers and then you do the inspection once the offers? Yeah, because I was confused. I'm like, should I get the inspection first?
Yeah, so you never want to pay for the inspection as a wholesaler. So
No?
As a wholesaler, all you want to do is get that property for as dirt cheap as possible and try and make the biggest split. So if you get it for $100,000, sell it to him for $150,000, you're making $50,000. He does the inspection.
So I don't have to.
You don't have to spend money on anything as a wholesaler. All you got to do, so $1, you can do $1 initial deposit. Like, it has $1 initial deposit in there. It doesn't come across as
Like
serious.
the earnest deposit?
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be as cheap as $1.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go after this one.
Yeah.
And so, like, what you can do too is you can say the deposit will come after conditions are removed. Because like, you can't really do that as a realtor, but as a wholesaler, you can do whatever you want. It's whatever you write and everyone signs. So you can say, hey, actually, this is a better strategy. I'm going to give you a $10,000 deposit after conditions are removed.
Wait, I tell them I'm gonna give you a 10,000.
After conditions are removed.
And what does that do?
That allows you to wholesale without using any of your money, because your condition is subject to due diligence.
So after conditions are removed. Okay.
So you have a condition in there. It's like a 4-week condition for due diligence.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, if I do my due diligence and I think this is a good deal for me, meaning I found someone to buy it from me,
Yeah.
I will give you a $10,000 deposit and pay you the price that we've agreed. And so it's like, hey, I found this property for $100,000. Mr. Flipper, would you like to buy this property and flip it and make money?
Mm-hmm.
So you bring him through. He's like, yeah, this is great property. I'll pay you $120,000.
And then that $10,000 comes off of my assignment fee?
No. So you go, okay, we're going to do a deal. So you bring out your purchase contract and you go $125,000 for the purchase price. Initial deposit is $10,000, due 2 days from now. Great. So then Mr. Flipper gives you a check for $10,000. You deposit in your bank account, and then you remove your conditions on that property after he's removed his conditions on his property. And then you take that $10,000 that's sitting in your bank account and you give it to the seller for your deposit. So you used his money as the deposit.
That's sick. And then, wait, is there any like things that I should be aware of that? Because does he have to make like a double like deposit then, or no?
Nope, that's his deposit. So then he'll take his purchase contract, he'll go get a mortgage, and then at the lawyers, you're going to do a double close. So possession is going to be December 1st
Mm-hmm.
On that contract with him, and then possession is December 1st on his contract with you. And so then you give your contract to the lawyer, he gives his contract to his lawyer, and then it's like a domino effect. He pays his lawyer, that lawyer sends the money to your lawyer, and then your lawyer pays him his $100,000. The lawyer takes his $2,000 cut, and then gives you a check for the difference between what you got on paper with him and what you owe him, so $25,000.
That is what? This is so cool. So, whoa. So, wow. So I don't have to pay. Isn't that more like selling to buyers? The more I do, the more I get paid. So like if I say, okay, I have the inspection, because it's like $250 to get the inspection, right?
$500.
500.
But he does the inspection, because your condition is due diligence.
Yeah.
But your due diligence is to find a buyer that's willing to buy it.
Yeah.
And he might bring you an offer saying, yeah, I'll pay you $150,000, but I want to do a property inspection. You go, sure, go ahead. So he does a property inspection, finds a couple things on there, but he's fine with it. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll pay you $150,000. He removes his condition, so he paid for the inspection. He removes his conditions, so he's agreed to buy it from you. Then you go to your guy, yep, I've satisfied my due diligence condition. Remove my condition, and so then dominoes.
So when will it be beneficial to pay for the inspection?
Never.
Never?
Never. The buyer always, it's the buyer's due diligence. The buyer, it's buyer beware. Buyer's gonna make his, you're not the buyer, you're just the intermediary, the guy in between facilitating. the
Okay.
deal.
So even if I did get an inspection, they'd probably be smart enough to get another one, right?
Well, you're not guaranteed, it's hard to find a buyer as a wholesaler.
Mhm.
Like that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Like I sell 10% of my own listings. So even if I get a property under contract, I'm only selling 10% of my listings and I've got Realtor.ca. So if I only have a 10% chance of selling that property,
Yeah.
So I don't want to spend any money if I was the wholesaler. I would want nothing in the deal because I don't know what's going to go through.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Awesome. Alrighty. I love it. Thank you.
My pleasure. Sorry that I gotta go.
No, that's okay.
We could keep chatting for a long time, but I gotta go work out.
That is okay. Me too. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Appreciate it. This is awesome. It was a pleasure to meet you.
That was so much fun.
That was fun.